It is my most pleasant duty as the acting Amir to welcome the Supreme Commander of the Faithful in this audience to answer some of the questions that you members would have to ask today. But before that, if the Supreme Commander of the Faithful will permit me, I will have 5 minutes indulgence to give a brief introduction of our movement. The Ahmadiyya movement, as we are known in Islam, is a religious organization created under divine guidance, and it has an international, scope, I beg your pardon. It has established branches in 144 countries in Africa, America, Asia, Australia, and Europe. At present, its total membership exceeds 10 million worldwide, and the numbers are increasing day by day. And inshallah, we hope that we shall have another increment today in this meeting. Within the last 12 months, alhamdulillah, we have had more than 400,000 conversions all over the world. This is the most dynamic denomination of Islam in modern history. The Ahmadiyya movement was established in 1889 by our holy founder, Hadhrat Mirza Ahmed, whose picture appears at the back of the hall. In a small, remote village called Qadian in the district of Punjab in India. He claimed to be the expected reformer of the later days, the awaited one for the worldwide community of religions. The movement he started is an embodiment of the benevolent message of Islam: peace, universal brotherhood, and submission to the will of Allah. Hadhrat Ahmad proclaimed Islam as the future religion of man in these words: remember that nothing happens in this earth unless it has been so willed in heaven. And it is God of heaven who revealed to me that ultimately it will be the religion of Islam which will conquer the hearts of the people. With this conviction, the Ahmadiyya movement within a century has reached the four corners of the earth. Wherever the movement is established, it endeavors to exert a constructive influence of Islam through social projects, educational institutions, health services, Islamic publications, and construction of mosques, despite being bitterly persecuted in quite a few countries. Ahmadi Muslims have earned the distinction of being a law-abiding, peaceful, persevering, and loyal members of the communities in countries where they reside. The Ahmadiyya movement has objectives to rejuvenate Islam and moral values and spiritual values. It encourages interfaith dialogue and diligently tries to correct misunderstandings about Islam, particularly in the West. It advocates peace, tolerance, and understanding among followers of different faiths. It firmly believes in and acts upon the Quranic teaching: there is no compulsion in religion. It strongly rejects violence and terrorism in any form for any reason. After the demise of our holy founder, the Ahmadiyya movement has been headed by his elected successors, who we call Khalifas. The present head of the movement, Hadhrat Mirza Tahir Ahmed, was elected in 1982. His official title is Hazrat Khalifatul Masih IV. He has launched several projects to help poor countries in Africa, and under his personal supervision, the movement has provided material and moral support to refugees in Bosnia, Rwanda, and other parts of the world. Now, before we actually start the meeting of question and answer, as most of you members have been told, we have these orange chairs on the left-hand side of the hall, and I would respectfully ask any member who has to have a question to please come onto the dais here and present their question and wait for the answer, and then respectfully request them to go back to the seats and take the seats. I will give you now the supreme head of our community, Hadhrat Mirza Tahir Ahmed. Jazakallah.
Now, before we proceed, I would like to remove a possible misunderstanding regarding the title used with reference to me. It was said the Supreme Commander of the Faithful. Now, the title suggests perhaps that I lead and command an army, And this is a very misleading title. In fact, the original title by which the first caliphs were addressed at the time of after Hadhrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's demise, that is, after the demise of the holy founder of Islam, the title was Amirul Mu'mineen. This title was translated by the Western scholars as the Commander of the Faithful, and as such it got established itself in the world of literature. Perhaps they wanted to create the impression that it was not the leader of a humble community, godly people, but a militant, organized group or regimented group which was led by the caliphs of the time. So I don't know what the reason was, maybe this or may not be this, but I know that this title in the present context particularly is very misleading. And normally the head of the Ahmadiyya community has always been entitled and referred to as Khalifatul Masih, which is a simple, non-hawkish title, not too dove-like either, but it has no offensive air about it. It means that the one who is deputizing the Messiah of the age. So that's a simple title. I would much rather be referred to as that. Another thing, the word supreme is used now more often than before. While before I came over to England, neither I nor my predecessor were ever referred to as the supreme head. The head of the Ahmadiyya community was considered quite sufficient, and I still consider it to be quite sufficient. When I protested against this new addition to, I don't know for what purpose it was used, but to add perhaps glamour to the title, the answer was, it's not because of that at all. It was because here the head of the Ahmadiyya community of UK is also called the head of the community in Germany, is head of the German community. So people here may misunderstand you to be only belonging to this country. But I doubt if it is necessary at all, because everybody knows, everybody has common sense enough to distinguish between one office and another. And look, whenever we say Amir, head of, we'd never say Amir, head of the Ahmadiyya community UK. We call him Amir of UK. So first of all, Khalifatul Masih is quite sufficient and has long been traditionally used without causing any misunderstandings. Secondly, if the head is to be used, then there is no need for adding supreme or less supreme, etc., etc. Now I invite those of the guests who have come here to ask a question or two, they may please step forward and come to the microphone, one after the other, of course.
Assalamu alaikum.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
My name is Shahid Ahmed Qureshi and I came from Pakistan. I'm doing PhD and working as a research scholar.
In which area?
Pardon?
In which area of research?
I'm working in
what? Yes.
I'm working in the field of political philosophy, and my topic of PhD is identity crisis in Pakistan.